you've discovered certain cars are cheaper in the UK. Well, let me tell you about my experience of bringing these over to the continental Europe. Let's go. All right, let's roll. So I've had a couple of requests in Estonian about talking about how to bring a car over from the UK to here. And then I had a German guy comment on one of the shorts I made about bringing cars over from the UK to the continental Europe. So I thought that I will make this video in such format where I'll just tell you a story about how I've done it. So pay in mind, this is not a blueprint on how to do it. This is just how I have done it. So your experience may and will vary, so pay that in mind. But yeah, so you've discovered that certain cars are cheaper in the UK. Most likely the cars that are cheaper are, kind of like everyday commuter cars. I've been looking at all sorts of special cars. Let's random example, an Audi B7 RS4. At the end of the day, for me here in Estonia, after the UK left the European Union, to bring a right-hand drive RS4 over from the UK, get it all legal, registered, and taxes paid and whatnot, it will cost you about the same money as you could buy a left-hand version of the car. Now, whether or not you will have a car in better condition with lesser mileage, with better equipment, that's where very all varies. But basically, all said and done, you could get a similar car in left-hand drive for the same money. So pay that in mind. After the UK left European Union, it's not that kind of gold mine anymore as it was previously. So pay that in mind. There are obviously like certain cars, I'd say less specialty cars and more like everyday cars, which are way cheaper. If you buy them for a lower price, then you will most likely pay less taxes. I'm not saying that there's no cars out there with which you could benefit by bringing these over from the UK. You can get them a bit cheaper and save money at the end after you've like registered and done everything. But basically, with most of the cars for which you would go there and bring one, all said and done, you'd be hard pushed to save any money unless it's an R8. The other day I was checking at like the first gen gated manual V8 R8s, and one of those is like 30,000 euros cheaper. It's 30 in the UK and 60 were the cheapest ones on mobile.de. So unless you're going for something like that, then this is just the plain simple truth. You're hard pushed to save any money at the end of the day, all said and done, all legal, all registered, just by my experience after the UK left the European Union. But let's leave this aside. I've been stuck on this point for a little bit too long. Where from to even look for a car in the UK? So Facebook Marketplace is basically the main place you go to look for a car. eBay.co.uk, Gumtree, also maybe Facebook groups. Some Facebook groups are really cool, like Track Time Classifieds. If you're looking for like a little bit of a modded track prep car, a good place to go to. But in general, I'd say like Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups are really the two places that deliver the most goods. So I've brought over 3 cars and registered those, and 4 cars in total. So I have one that I haven't registered yet. I got them from a Facebook group, but the car was on eBay also. The second car eBay, the third car eBay. So eBay has been providing me with the most goods. So those are like the main places you should go to look for a car. Obviously, there are like specialty groups, like I don't know, special Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Subaru, whatever, whatnot groups. So you can always go look there. But yeah, in general, those are the places you can look for cars. There's Auto Trader and Piston Heads and something like that too. But in those places, I think advertising there costs a significant amount of money, so you won't find like the bottom end cars there if you're looking for something like that, which I've always been looking for. So you can go and look at Auto Trader and Piston Heads. Piston Heads especially is like a enthusiast site, so I don't think if you're looking at that price range, then there's no point in looking towards UK at the first place. But those are the places in general I'd look for cars. I'll go over on how I've done this process. So pretty much all you do, you like pick out a car or two. Usually for me it's only been one, because it's not that easy to travel around Britain. It takes a lot of time. If you have the time and the money, then you can pick out a few. So basically all you do is you get plane tickets. I've been flying to Luton the most because all the cheapest airlines, the low-cost airlines, fly to Luton. You'd most likely be landing there. I mean, London Stansted, and I don't think you're going to be flying to Gatwick if you're buying like cheap cars. I think that's out of the question. But the best way to get around the UK, as far as like the costs go, is buses. Bus connections are pretty decent, and I've found myself taking a bus to basically all the cars I've been buying. Last trips have been out of Plymouth, England, and like taking a bus to London, taking a bus to Worcester. It's always been a bus, so the bus always has made the most sense for me. Obviously there are trains and whatnots, but like based on my experience, looking at the prices and the availability and everything, then the bus makes the most sense. So I'm not gonna talk about how to buy a car here at the moment, because let's be frank, I'm okay. I'm not legendary at it. I make enough blunders, so good buys and blunders are at a balance. So I'm not maybe not the right guy to teach you how to buy a car, so we're not gonna spend any time on that. But let's say you bought a car, you've done all the haggling and whatnot. What are your options then? First of all, it's been my sort of like advantage that I lived in England, so I know people there. The first thing the owner wants to do is wants to fill out the correct strips from the V5C, so he could send it to the DVLA, basically get the car out of his name. So what are your options? With the first car, Subaru STI that I bought, the owner was some sort of car dealer. He gave me this little piece of paper, and that was it. Basically what happened is that I told him that, please keep insurance on the car for a few more days, and I just drove out of the country. That's what happened with the first car. I didn't have anything to prove that I bought it, I own it. I just bought the car and drove it home. And that's all the paperwork I did. With the second car, I think we filled out the little correct strip that I was supposed to. I think, if I remember correctly, he was supposed to send it to DVLA, but what I ended up doing is there's all sorts of forms there, and there's a form on which you can apply for the new V5C on your name. Now, my advantage comes in at that I know people, I'm friends with people who live in the UK, so pretty much what I've done is I've registered the car on my name to their address, gotten the V5C sent there, and then had the V5C sent over to me. So the V5C is the documentation of the car. And I don't know if you have friends in the UK, it's pretty easy. And that's the route I've gone. And like with the first car, I didn't have anything, and I started applying for the documents later. I had like copies of the payments and whatnot, and then like I got the some sort of certificate of export way later than I already was at home, like a year later. But basically, to be honest, like what I've done is I've just taken the car and driven it home, and that's pretty much what it comes down to, is what my experience is with this. So just bought the car, driven it home, and with the last two cars, definitely we've done the little V5C slip filling on the spot, and with one car the owner sent the slip away. I never got the documents at the address I was supposed to get them, and then I filled out the form to get these documents reshipped, and then on the second time I got it, and then with the last car everything worked out. So I've filled out the little slip, owner sent them away, and eventually the documents came in the post, and then I got them sent to me to Estonia. So basically with the last car, which is still in the UK registry, is I have the UK documentation on my name, like a little 2 A4 size book. I already briefly mentioned the insurance, so I haven't looked into it at all since I bought the first car, but I think some UK providers will provide you with like a day-based insurance. So from my experience, the first time I was looking at it, I just deemed it a bit too expensive. Like, I don't remember, maybe it was 100 quid for like a few days, maybe 200. It looked ridiculously expensive for just road insurance, for like regular road insurance, not full coverage. So I just, like, to be honest, with every car, I've just driven it out of UK as is. I've asked the owners if it's been possible, just keep it on your name for a few more days, keep the insurance on it until I get out of UK, and that's how I've just done it. That's just plain and simple. If you now ask that how I've gotten off UK, I've used the ferry now thrice, and once I used the Eurotunnel, and there was like literally no problem on getting onto the ferries or into the Eurotunnel with just booking the ticket online, putting the car number and your own personal information there, and just buying a ticket that way. In Eurotunnel, the border people, they ask more questions. Like, I remember them asking me like, where you going, whatnot, what did you do in the UK, because I'm Estonian. So I told them I play basketball in Plymouth, and they asked, I think maybe I told them that I just bought this car and now I'm driving home with it and whatnot. So they were more interested in the people in the car, but they didn't ask much about the car. And the same has been in the ferry port. In the ferry port, there's usually shit ton of people in the line, and you just show your like passports, and that's it. They let you through. So basically, this is my experience. No documentation whatsoever on the cars. I just buy the ferry or the Eurotunnel ticket. All they're gonna check is your travel documentation, passport or ID card in Europe, and you'll be good to go. You get on the ferry and you get into the Eurotunnel. And as far as the French side goes, I think once I had to stop and they wanted to see my identification, but other than that, nothing. And from there, I mean, you're on your way home. Like, if you don't cause trouble, like get caught for speeding or whatever whatnot, then there won't be any issues in this way as far as my 4 times have gone. And the most recent time was like, I think now 6 months ago, last summer in July. So it's 2023 July, and it's 2024 February at the moment. So it's 7 months, I think, or something like that. Whatever. If I come back to what I started off, fiscally, will it make much sense if you value the travel part, that you'll get a car, you get to travel. I don't know, you can go to London, you can like visit some places in the UK, you can visit places on the way home, like I've been to the Nürburgring with 3 of the cars out of 4, Berlin, whatnot. I've like always made it like a little holiday, so sort of like a holiday. So if you add like this kind of like non-fiscal aspects to it, then it's like a fun adventure, you know. But at the end of the day, financially, it really has to be something that really you like something you really find. Like I found that, you know, you can get a gated manual R8 for like 30,000 euros in the UK, and the cheapest one on mobile.de at the moment is like 60k. Well, in that case you have like space to operate. In Estonia, like I bought a Civic Type R, and with that car I had to pay import duty, and you know, all the costs like travel and whatnot put together. I could have bought a left-hand drive car in Estonia, like at the end of the day. And then even if you do everything, you register the car and it's in the registry, it's 100%, it has a MOT, insurance, whatnot, then you'll be stuck with like a right-hand drive car in a place most likely where no one wants a right-hand drive car. I had the A8, I had it for sale for like 4 years. STI, I think I had it for sale for like 2 years, something like that. So continuously I had the advert up. Like eventually somebody will be crazy enough to buy it. But after Brexit, financially, based on my experience here in Estonia, you'd be hard pushed to make financial sense out of it. That's just the honest, cold truth. Where it is financially makes some sense is that if you go there, you buy this car, you come back, well, then you have a car that's that has number plates on it. It's registered somewhere on someone's name. And basically, I mean, you can drive it around. No one's gonna physically put their hand in your way of sitting in the car and driving it around. Because that's what I've been always doing. So there's like, let's say, if you have a little bit of an open attitude to life, then there are scenarios that if you take all like fiscal and non-fiscal positives and leave aside the negatives, and you really have to value the travel part, you know, you really have to make the most out of the trip, then, you know, it's kind of like it won't hurt you at the end of the day, you know. You will still have a car. You've had a fun trip, and you own a car for way less than you would have just bulk sum bought it on the spot. But it's I'd say the only way you could make it profitable is if you like bring it over, own it for some time, drive it yourself around on UK plates, and then dismantle it or something. If you have that kind of angle to it, then you can make it financially profitable. But I'm sure there are cars out there that you can go and buy and do all the necessary stuff to have plates on it, local plates, and make some financial sense. Like maybe if you go for the JDM angle, something like that, then there's options. But if you buy like run-of-the-mill cars, like let's say buying this kind of E65 745i, it like the cheapest ones here cost just a fraction more than the cheapest ones there, because this is already a cheap car, because nobody wants these. There's no way to make financial sense. And then like, okay, it's not difficult to register it, but you'll be basically paying more for this kind of car at the end of the day if you want to get it registered and want to drive it around. And then you will have the right-hand drive version, which is like let's be honest, nigh on impossible to sell to anyone. So it really has to be something like a specialty car, like JDM definitely is an angle which you could work. But yeah, let me think. I've been rambling on for some time now. Did I miss something? But I definitely didn't miss anything. Like in general, I gave you all of my my 2 cents and how I've been operating with this. So I have to summarize this all somehow. So, like I said, if you want to buy a car for yourself to register and drive around, then unless it's a really specialty car, at the end of the day, going there and buying one doesn't make financial sense if you don't take all the, like, let's call them soft values into account. So if the traveling doesn't matter to you, and let's say you can get a lower mileage car from there, but at the end of the day, if it's right-hand drive, people are not gonna care that much about the mileage. Everybody's gonna be like, it's a right-hand drive, I don't want it. So unless you have some sort of other angle to it, like dismantling, or you bring over something to do track driving or rally or whatever, somewhere where you don't have to like jump through all the loops to make it legal, or like if you're just a cold-blooded bastard and don't register it and drive it around. I have one experience with it. I'm not gonna tell exactly who and how, because this is not really, I don't think it's information that I like should share. But let's say some guy had a car on UK plates, and then that guy's somebody, some close relative to them, borrowed the car, and he got stopped at the Latvian border, and whatnot. At the end of the day, he got fined like 150 euros or something by the Latvian police. And the guy driving it, there was no documents with the car. It was on UK plates. They went to the DVLA homepage, which actually I don't think it's kind of like the way they are allowed to check it. But anyway, it's public info. They went to the DVLA homepage and saw that, oh, that car doesn't have, it's not taxed, it's not insured in the UK. So basically, he was just driving a car without any documentation, insurance documentation, whatnot documentation with it, and he got fined 150 euros by the Latvian police. So, I mean, like I said, if you have like an open relationship to approaching life, then let's say it comes mostly down to your own morals and ethics. How do you feel about certain aspects of life? Then I mean, there's reasonings on personal level, the ways to reason it to make sense of going there and buying a car. But like, let's say this is not a topic I really want to discuss here. I don't think I should discuss it because it's not really my business, and nor do I want to have any influence on people in that matter. You know, I have a certain approach to life, and that's mine, and that's how I just do it. But yeah, I guess this is the point I've been driving in a lot of most of the time, is hard push to make financial sense, unless it's gonna be we're gonna be selling parts of the car. It's gonna be parts cars for yourself, just for use. Like, you really have to scour the market, find something specific that will make sense. Yeah, in short, how I've always done it, basically taking nothing away and adding nothing. Just flown out there, went to the car, paid the owner, and driven it home as is. And that's like that's just how simple it's been. Like without delving into any like minor aspects that really don't matter at the end of the day. That's just how I've done it. Flown out, went to the car, paid the owner, and then just dead ass driven it home. That's how I've always done it. And I guess that's about it. I didn't prepare for it. I thought that, you know, I had this idea for some time, and I thought I'll make a cool video out of it, but I don't get enough viewers to like make sense for me to like go film and edit and whatnot, spend a ton of time on it. But basically I've laid out my experience with it. So 4 cars this far, 3 I've ended up registering in Estonia. Maybe just to end here, all it has taken me to register is with the first 2, change the headlights, add an extra fog light at the back, and basically done. Cars have been registered. With the third car now, car number 3, with the third car, I had to pay also taxes because it's been after Brexit. But other than that, same thing. Headlights, fog light, register the car. Very simple. But like I said, your mileage may vary. This is like this is what it requires in Estonia. Headlights, fog light at the back, and you can register the car. Anyhow, yeah, I guess this is about it. I don't know if anyone has any questions or whatever, wants to comment about something, then go ahead, you can do that in the comments. But I guess like I've exhausted like all the useful information I can give to you based on my experience. Like I said, your mileage may and will vary, but this is how it's been for me. And I guess this is about it too, because yeah, I've been rambling over every point like over and over again. So I guess I gave all the information I have. So if you were listening, thanks for listening, and peace. Rate, comment, subscribe, unsubscribe, report, I don't know, leave a hateful comment, downvote, whatever. And at the end of the day, I don't care. But if you got this far, then obviously you're a top dog, and thank you for it. Peace, 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 or victory, or whatever it is.